and we're live.
Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. If you guys are new here, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 4K. Big up the people who are already here. Big up the people who are going to be tuning in later on as well. Celta Vigo, man. I mean, where do I begin, right? This is the first time we have lost to them at home in 20 years, 19 years. This is the first time they have gone. They have picked up 4 away wins on the trot. Yeah, man, Xabi Alonso and this team is basically gifting records to teams that have no right to do so. Celta Vigo isn't a bad side. Whenever we go away to the Balados, we know what we're up against. Over the years, they have been a side that can really, mix in well with the big boys. You know, they have a really strategic transfer policy, selling on players when they feel like they can get a buck or two. And yeah, just hanging on to people who want to stay and back the project. And they have found incredible success doing so. How many years have they been in the top flight consecutively now? Celta Vigo mainstay, ever stay, in La Liga over the last few years. Um, So going into a match like this, we know what to expect, right? We can't really rest on our laurels and yeah, stroll to a victory. We can't really expect Celta Vigo to roll over. Although, even the most pessimistic of fans, like me, people who have been accustomed to what we do, we keep it at a buck, and I've been very realistic about how we have performed so far in La Liga and pretty vocal about the shortcomings this side has shown over the course of the last 3-4 months, and had to really go all the way, wedging warfare against the delusionals online, and even some of my mates who think that this is good enough. The points tally is good enough. Where we are in the league is good enough. What we see on the pitch is good enough. You know, what Xabi Alonso has done so far is good enough. I'm sorry, man. Maybe I'm too old school. Maybe I come from a generation that supported this team that you know demands a lot more. That demands a lot more stability. That demands a lot more identity in the way we play. Um, I've had to put up with Barcelona sides, the great Guardiola sides, you know, um, the Premier League sides when we play in the Champions League, playing a distinct um, brand of football that their fans can back, can resonate with. Me and Farouk, we have had hour-long debates about why we should hire a coach with a specific style, and I've always been that man to be like, this is Madrid. Maybe style, yeah, style and flair does matter. The Bernabeu and fans like us, we need to see the best players at their peak. Taking on players, creating chances out of nothing. Um, the fundamentals, maybe in the eyes of modern football fans, when it comes to structure and the framework for how a team should set up. I personally believe at Madrid that is secondary. You can go from head to toe, right from where this transfer policy starts. It's not the foundation that the recent Madrid sites have been based on. So I can completely disregard that. But when you see a performance like this, and when you bring in a coach like Xabi Alonso, who is bought in to actually implement a style of football that is modern, an approach to football that is no longer haphazard, no longer off the cuff, no longer improvised, and you see this man basically fall to his knees, basically, yeah, losing his mind, crying to the players, yeah, go press, show a lot more, initiative, be aggressive. He has to scream from the pitch. I mean, yeah, man. Whenever I say this bunch of players are entitled, I mean it. Farouk, can you call these bunch of players anything other than entitled? Because it took 65 minutes and us being down to 10 men for them to actually press against Celta at home, Farouk.
Yeah, I mean, the point is like 65 minutes for you to, be 10 man down, a goal down to press. I mean, and then what came of it? Nothing. I mean, this is just a thing. Like these guys, I think there's a disconnect somewhere. Like there's a disconnect with Xavi Alonso and the players. There's a disconnect with the players and and the management, or Xavi and the management, or whatever. But like there is a disconnect somewhere. Like this can't just be, you're looking at the team and literally like everyone is like, very like is a summary of what indiscipline looks like. Every single player. You're seeing the situation what happened with France, because like for me today it's not about, you can lose games. It's fair, it's fine. But the question is now like, how do you react to that? You understand? You're a
Yeah.
goal down, you're a man down, you're trying to get an equalizer at home. You're seeing what Alvaro Carreras is doing. You're seeing what the supposed captain of the team is doing. You're seeing what the supporters, because players like Rodrigo are like, I don't know, elder statesmen of this team. So this again goes back to the point that it goes way beyond what Xavi Alonso is trying to do. It's much more than that. It's about the tantrums that Vinicius Junior is throwing. It's about the fact that Jude Bellingham thinks he's Jesus. It's about the fact that Kylian Mbappe knows that irrespective of what happens, he's never gonna get benched. You understand? So this is the thing. Like it's more and more and more than just Xavi Alonso. I know Xavi has a lot of faults. And the point now becomes like I mean, I've said this a lot of times, even since we're 5 points ahead of Barcelona, this team doesn't fill you with confidence. People will talk that, oh, but you're first in the table, like at least we were first in the
Yeah.
table. Oh, you were like, fourth in the Champions League, stuff like that. But when you actually watch the game and not just follow the stats, you understand that, oh,
Mm,
wow, something
mm,
is wrong. When people were singing praises of Arda Güler, I've been here saying, okay, like Arda is creating, but when you actually watch the game, like I don't feel
yeah.
like Arda is giving you that confidence. I
Mm,
feel like, bro, yeah, we have something, we have a
mm,
player that's like gonna conjure stuff. Like all of
mm,
this have not happened. So this is just, I mean, it's not surprising, honestly. If there is anyone who has been watching Real Madrid since the start of the season, this defeat is not surprising. But
mm,
what I just cannot stand is the rate of indiscipline that we have in this team. Holy God. The amount of indiscipline we have in this team, man, no
yeah.
matter what. Honestly, you start to appreciate a lot what Cruz, Modric, Casemiro, before them, Sergio Ramos, Cristiano Ronaldo, Karim Benzema, what those guys brought to the team. Like, holy God. We took that for granted, man. We had seasons where we won nothing with these guys, but you know that these guys left everything on the pitch. These
Mm,
guys didn't sleep until they won the next game. But I cannot say that about Vinicius Junior. Do you
no.
think Jude cares? Jude is gonna go meet his mate. He's just gonna hang out, speak English, and move on, move past it. You know?
Speaks,
Do you
man
think
said speak
Alvaro
English.
Carreras cares? But that's the
He's
thing, man.
supposed
Like,
to
do you
speak
think these
English,
guys
Farouk.
care? They absolutely. I mean, whatever, bro. I mean,
I'm
man,
just,
it's
yeah.
bro. Like the point is on this at this. I don't honest. We're just in a complete shit show, man. We're in a complete shit show. Same, really. There is no way this group of anything to close of going on a three-peat. There is no
Mm,
way.
mm,
Absolutely no way.
yeah. I've
Man, we're a goal down, a man down, man. We're pressing, but there is even not a chance created, man. Okay, yeah, there
mm,
was one to Kylian Mbappe. Credit where it's due.
the
Chouameni's
only
ball to Kylian
Chouameni.
Mbappe.
Chouameni was the only player I would think can walk off the pitch with his held high. He did at least something. Um, but yeah.
100%, 100%. I agree with you, man. I cannot honestly for today. I cannot slate him. He did
Mm,
what he could do, and way more than that. Trying to find situations. Even if you remember, he had a similar pass to Vinicius Junior in the first
Vinicius.
half as well. A very
Yeah.
similar, yeah, very similar pass as well. But yeah, man, it's insane, really.
But
Like
Farouk,
what
the
we are seeing
question,
in this
since
team.
since we are on this, right? The Chouameni long ball, it was working to the T, right? I mean, they were back in the box, and once we pulled them outside, this was the perfect plan, right? You hit them over the top, and we were finding relative success, not tremendous success, because our forwards, they aren't cold-blooded, man. Even Mbappe, I've said this. People argue with me. People argue with me all the time. Mbappe is that one chance, bang killer. He's not. He's somewhere close to it. He is in and around it. Maybe he's the player that we have closest to that tagline, who can actually be lethal. But he's not that guy, and we have to accept it. He is the best player by far in the side, but he's not that guy who's going to put away every or two out of three chances, right? We are finding relative success, but why don't we do it more often, Farooq? Why are we just playing it around aimlessly, side to side, side to side? You get it out to the wing, you play it back. You get it out to Vinicius, he run into a wall. I mean, Xabi Alonso, I feel a bit sympathetic, with the situation, because out on the right hand side, it's Raul Asensio. But then again, you have a lot of injured players, blah blah blah. Man, this is again us underestimating Celta Vigo. Faru, can you deny this? Right? Xabi Alonso basically put in Raul Asensio on the right, is him saying, here we go. This is a perfect opportunity to give Fede Valverde, a role or position that he would enjoy, so that he can rein himself in on Wednesday against City, where he will be required at right back. Let him have his day out against Celta Vigo at home. It's going to be comfortable. It's going to be rosy. We are going to win this game for sure. Let Raul Asensio be the the crutch on our right, basically just a fucking training cone. If he cared about the right hand side, and if we actually saw that, Celta Vigo are a well drilled side, they are on a a 3 game winning streak away from home, he would have not played Raul Asensio on the right. He would have played Raul Asensio at centre back, and maybe, yeah, just fuck it and play Fran Garcia on the right. I know it wouldn't have looked great in training, and they don't trust Fran Garcia or Alvaro Carreras to actually play on the right. I get it, but you see the process of thinking, right? For me, this is complacency, man. All the way from the guys who basically set the starting 11 to the players on the pitch. The amount of times Jude Bellingham is strolling around, looking at each other. I mean, these guys are looking at each other, blaming each other, Farouk. They are like, that was your man, that was your play. What were you doing? Instead of being like, yeah, that was my responsibility as well. Why am I not demanding more of myself? Where are these leaders, man? I mean, how many times do we digress about the same fucking thing over the course of the season? The entirety of Europe is laughing at us. We are a team that's supposed to be looking like the name that it reps. We are Royal Madrid, man. I mean, we look like we look like a mid-table United at best, Farouk, at this point. Can you argue with that? Can you argue with what you're seeing and not be reminded of the mediocrity that United used to put up with? I don't know, man. I don't see a light at the end of this tunnel,
Absolutely,
Farouk.
man. Absolutely, absolutely. And actually, that's the thing, Sunil. You talked about the fact that there is complacency there, and I agree with you. This worse is that when you put now under a microscope, this is not an isolated performance. It's one win in 5 games in the league.
Mm.
A 5 point gap becomes a 4 point deficit. That's a 9 point swing, bro. Like a 9 point swing, bro. Like, do you know what it takes to have a 9 point swing, man? Like, that's insane. Like, this is relegation form. This is literally relegation form.
Relegation
I
form,
understand
yeah,
what you're saying about
yeah.
complacency, and I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. It's complacency, because the point here now becomes, why are you playing Raul Asensio out of position, Alvaro Carreras out of position? I know Ferry doesn't like playing that, but bro, yeah, let him play. That, I mean, we have no personnel. He has to play it. What else can we do? What else can we do? Like, it's insane. And then you go on again, and then the best defender you have gets injured again. So yeah, I really don't know, man. Honestly, I don't see a way forward. Then we play City at home on Wednesday. God save our souls, bro. Honestly, God help us.
Farouk, we shouldn't be surprised if you're going by the United script, right? A team that is borderline mediocre, a team that has a lot of inflated egos, players who are on wages they have no right to earn, right? If you watched United, from afar, you would know when the lights are the brightest, they turn up. Against a City on Wednesday, these guys are going to turn up. These guys are going to put in a performance they didn't do tonight, and it's it's as obvious as it can be. I've watched these guys for the last 4 years. I know what they're about. It breaks my heart a little. Even the likes of Fede Valverde can just succumb to this fucking madness because whether or not he's playing through injury, I'm done giving Fede the excuses, man. He looks completely out of his depth. Whether it's his role in this side, whether it's him running on empty. So many of the key players who we have relied on in the past has completely shut the bed. I mean, how many of these players can you actually let off the hook? Apart from Mbappe and Thibaut consistently over the season, maybe if an accent show, maybe apart from that, that's 3 out of the 11. 3 out of the 11 players who you think have had above average, performances throughout the season. The rest, man, may God save the rest. Um, there are way too many injuries, right? If this was any other year, any other set of players, we would be a lot more empathetic with the whole situation. With Alvaro Carreras picking up a red card and Fran Garcia picking up a red card, we would be definitely slating them. But when you look at Militao getting injured, Alaba, Housen, Carvajal, Mendy, Trent, the list goes on and on and on. We would feel a bit sorry for this bunch of players, but what they show on the pitch and the sort of body language they carry themselves with is completely detached from reality. I've been saying this over the course of the last 2 3 months. Farooq, can you tell me why some people call me out for being reactive? Being why are you being so reactionary? Why are you basically just berating this team for no reason? They are top of the table in La Liga. They are in and around the top five in the Champions League. They just won the Clásico. Why do you doubt your team so much? Don't you like your club? Don't you enjoy watching this team? That to me is a complete and resounded no. I don't enjoy watching the side anymore. But the reason I berate this team is because, man, like, we can differentiate between fire and water, right? Farooq, we have seen football far and long enough to know what's what's right and what kind of looks off, what kind of looks like it has a lot of inconsistencies. We are basically walking on thin ice from results like Bilbao. People were getting gassed up. I didn't even watch the whole game, but I knew in my mind, I was at work, right? So I saw the highlights and the Mbappe goal, brilliant finishes. All credit goes to him, right? I heard that we dug in and we really really fought ourselves to actually keep that 3-0 lead and get out of Bilbao with a clean sheet and 1-0. Fair enough. But Farooq, isn't Bilbao a side that gives us a lot of space? They're at home. Are they going to pack the box like what Celta Vigo did tonight? They are not. And I've said this for way too long. The perfect blueprint to play against our club at this very moment in time is basically be deep. Don't give Mbappe and Vinicius, the space to run in behind, and you're good, bro. How the fuck are we gonna basically break down a semi-average, well-drilled defense, Farooq? Can you tell me how?
Nope, not happening, man. Absolutely not happening. I mean, that's the thing. You go back to the point about like, making complaints and berating the team and all that. That's just the thing. Like, you find a situation whereby we have a lot of fanboys. Either it's like the Jude fanboys or it's the Kylian Mbappe fanboys and it's the Vinicius fanboys. But this is just the thing. Like, we've seen. I mean, I know that I've complained about Carlo Ancelotti and what is and what is not. But like, man, like the level of application from the players wasn't this bad. At least the level of application from the players, you can see, okay, like there was disjointed performances here and there, and what is and what is not, but the level of application from the players wasn't this bad. It's insane, honestly. Of course, I'm not expecting that Xabi Alonso is going to become the next Carlo Ancelotti. No, that's not going to happen. And again, I go back. If Xabi Alonso was actually implementing a playing style and it was failing, we would have a conversation there and be like, okay,
Yeah.
it's working, it's not working. But right
Mm.
now, it's way, way, way more than that. And as you rightly said now, okay, when the light shine brightest, these guys will perform, like, okay, maybe on Wednesday we see a different performance from, this bunch of players. And then we go back to the weekend again. And then you rightly pointed out the situation at the San Mames. You're at the home of Bilbao, they're for sure going to give you a lot of space. Hence the reason why Trent was able to, have his crossfield balls and all that. Perfect. Now you come back to the Bernabeu, you play teams like Celta, they sit all behind, you spend and nothing happens. You're a man that it's going, and then you're looking, and then all of a sudden you find Gordon Garcia is there. Then that begs the question, like, oh, why does Gonzalo Garcia have to be a last resort?
Yeah.
When you go, basically, like you're handicapping this guy, man. Like, I mean, you're going a man down and you're throwing in him. Like, what do you? I mean, okay, he got one chance that he should have buried, of course, but that gives you a glimpse of what could have been. It shows you that, okay, this is a possibility of what could have been, but then we are so limited. We are so, like, I don't know, like, we are so one-dimensional. It's also about the situation that, okay, you have an issue with Vini, Kylian Mbappe. For God's sake, like, play one of them on the right and put Gonzalo Garcia through the middle, for God's sake. We are going through a stretch of 1 win in 5 games in the league, bro. Try something different, for God's sake, please. Please. Come on. I mean, I know Carlo had his reservations. He's never going to change anything. He's not going to try. Okay, yeah, Carlo is a grandpa. He's more or less. Now we're starting something new. We're trying something. Let's see that something different translates into, like, even team selections, into how you play. But no, it's all of the same nonsense, man. Attack is so blunt. Midfield is non-existent. Don't even talk about defense, man. Honestly, it's really, really pathetic, man. Like, what we are seeing, like, there is, I don't know.
Yeah, the defense, the less said about it, the better. Like you said, man, one ball in behind, and Militao is fighting for his life. I mean, the amount of injuries our defenders pick up, it's like I have to. I'm sorry, right? This is again me being a fucking conspiracy specialist out here, but our defenders picking up so many injuries I mean, surely it must have a correlation to how many times we basically hung them out to dry. Militao is basically going down with pain and pulling his hamstring because he is in tremendous danger. He is the last man. I mean, this is how easy it is. While we take 250 passes, right? This is no exaggeration. 250 passes to actually carve out one half chance. The likes of Celta Vigo, the likes of any average mid-table side, they come to the Bernabeu. Even when we go away, all they take is 2-3 good-fashioned balls to actually carve out a pretty big chance against us. It's been the story of the season. It's almost like, we just switch off. We just switch off collectively, all at the same time. I mean, how many passengers can we actually afford to carry in this side? If Chouameni is the only guy who's actively looking out. I mean, Jude Bellingham, to his credit, in the first half, he was helping the team out. Defending deep. At times, he was in his own box, trying to cover Fran Garcia. I appreciate all that, but man, when the dust settles, right? When the fog clears, what we see are the side that doesn't really fight for each other, Farouk. How many times have we said that about Madrid sides in the past, right? How many sides have we really sat back and gone, what you said earlier? These guys are not going to win anything. These guys doesn't look like a side that doesn't wanna, but doesn't have the grinta, doesn't have the hunger to actually win trophies, Farouk. I, I put up a story on IG. For me, this is the worst side in 20 years. 20 years ago, I wasn't even watching Madrid. For me, from what I've heard about the period immediately before Mourinho, Farouk, you were there probably, is the worst in recent memory. That's a whole generation ago, Farouk. That's a whole generation ago. How does the side climb out of this mess? because the pressure is going to only start to mount from now on. This isn't even January. We're in December. This isn't even halfway. This isn't even the point where we are past the Supercopa, and we are just settling into the knockouts of the Champions League. We haven't even finished the group phase, and we completely look like a team that's on the verge of meltdown. Xabi Alonso, he's saying what all of us could see. He was saying somehow we were better with 10 than 11. With 11, we worked less than with 10. At least then we started running. Man, he is basically coming out in the press conference and claiming that like that's the players' fault alone. If Xabi Alonso can't motivate these bunch of players, who can? If Florentino is basically being the enabler, and if fans in Madrid, Farouk, this is the truth, okay? Sid and and how he used to handle fan camps and whatnot. Like he has told me this on way too many occasions. People in Madrid, they don't want to criticize the players. They are untouchables. They are like, oh yeah, they didn't pick up the win this week. They're gonna do it next week. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I was sure, Farouk. People would comfort me saying that um, it's away from home. This is a brand new side, a brand new set of instructions to these players. They are at times playing a hybrid 4-4-2, hybrid 3-5-2. Too many players injured. Like you said, rightfully so. A couple of weeks back, or I think it was last week, where you said a lot of the three-peat leaders have moved on. This team needs a new leader. Blah blah blah. And it's pretty um, understandable that away from home, when they're up against it, they tend to not do well, and they tend to lack confidence, and they tend to crumble under pressure. And then I knew it. I was inconsolable in the sense that I knew if the performances away from home continued, it would slowly but surely seep into the home form. We were untouchable in home. Like Farouk, if you remember, this season, we rarely have had a bad performance. I mean, bad performances, yeah, but not to an extent where we looked completely played out of the park. Because if you remember, Farouk, especially in the second half, for a 10-minute period where Borja Iglesias suddenly, all of a sudden, turned out to be prime Benzema, dribbling 3-4 guys on the trot, we knew it was over. For me, it was over then. If Celta Vigo is basically playing it about and playing with a confidence and a swagger that we couldn't show for 60 minutes, the writing is on the wall.
Yeah, man, that's the thing. Like we talk on this stuff, a lot of times, and as you rightly pointed out, like Borja Iglesias actually literally rolled back the time, and yeah, it's just unfortunate. Like you look at even. I mean, just go again. When you go back again to the first goal and you see what's happening. You basically have two right backs playing as one is playing as your one is playing as your center, one is playing as your left center back, and one is playing as your left back. And you can see that they were caught in no man. They weren't sure exactly what to do there. You understand? They were basically caught in no man's. And again, this goes back to the point I was trying to make earlier. It's, the personnel matters. Like, why would you have a center back who is available and choose to play him as a right back? Because your captain doesn't want to play as a right back just for a couple of games. So our defense has not been very good. Like, we need to buy a center back. We absolutely need to buy a center back. I mean, what's going to happen with Upamecano? I mean, at this point, even I'm cool to buy, what's the name of the cone that plays for Liverpool? Konate. I'm cool to get him. I know
Yo. Less of that. No,
bro. Like,
Konate,
I
man.
mean,
Please.
we
No.
need bodies.
Nah. Oh my
We need
God.
people to be there.
I
We
saw the
need
penny
people to
conceded
be there,
against
man.
Nonto, against Leeds. Holy shit. No. No, Konate, please.
Bro, we need bodies,
Yeah.
man. We need bodies, like, and I don't know why this is happening. Like, we need either promote someone from the youth team or, like, let's find a solution. Like, we need bodies, like, and as you rightly pointed out, like, it says something that literally our center backs are always falling like flies. Militao is here pulling the muscle. Of course, it's because the workload is too much. Rudiger, I'm sure, also, there was a reason why he didn't start as well. It's rest. These guys are coming back from long-term injuries. Like, so what's gonna happen to these guys or not? I don't know. Like, we need, and Rudiger is 33, if I'm not mistaken, 32, 33.
Yeah.
Alaba is also, injured. We know the story what's with Alaba as well. Militao to ACL. So like, we're like bare team. The back line is paper team. Like, we need reinforcements, and we need reinforcement ASAP, because the point is, even if you have a fit Rudiger, fit Militao, fit David Alaba, these are players that have significant injury history, and their own age is not on the side of two of them. So definitely, anytime, everything can go wrong. So I'm relying on these three guys is not the way forward, honestly. Relying on these three guys is not the way forward, and playing Alvaro Carreras as a left centre back, or I don't know, Ferland as a left centre back also is not the way forward as well. It absolutely isn't. So something needs to be done. Either we change the model entirely and go to, okay, now we find solutions internally. That means through the academy, or you go to the market and do what needs to be done. There just is no two ways about this.
See, I mean, completely off topic, but Carvajal is basically putting out statements. This is a standard you set, and then you go cry in the press conference. The people on social media basically, yeah, blaming the ref for us not winning this game. I mean, guys, you see, you're part of the reason, right? You're basically part of the reason why we have all these crybabies on this team, man. I mean, Cristiano used to throw tantrums pretty regularly, and then nobody really, gave it much attention. And I used to get so riled up because of it. He was far and away the best player in the fucking universe, right? And it still used to piss me off. And that was one of the only occasions where I felt like, yo, Cristiano, he needs to man up. That faded away, when he was on the other side of 30. This was the late 20s and his early days, up until maybe 2014. This was Cristiano on the regular. He used to be a bit of a whiner, right? And it used to bother me. If people here see guys like Alvaro Carreras basically going and telling the ref you're bad and picking up a second yellow when he clearly knows, the situation his team is in terms of defensive cover, and the likes of Vinicius and all these guys who are basically not just mature enough to deal with situations like this, deal with adversity with a bit more, now is beyond me, man. We as a fan base, we have basically just bandwagon behind what RMTV and Real Madrid as an institution has done. Yes, the officiating is shit, but if you completely base the poor performances, the reason why you underperform, based on La Liga officials being blind, man, you're done out here, bro. You're done, man. Officiating and officials and VAR and all of that is beyond your control. What you can control is being aggressive, being on the front foot, playing for the fans, man, who pay the minimum ticket prices at the Bernabeu in the seventh tier, where basically the players on the pitch are fucking, you know, polka dots, right? It's 70 euros. It's not cheap. I don't think it's even 70. I think now it's probably 80 to 85. The average ticket price in the Bundesliga is 60, 65, right? So people are paying at least a 30, 20 euro premium to actually go watch the games. And this is what you put out? People save up to go watch the games, man. We we are an absolute fucking joke. I'm telling you, we aren't a club that represents the people like us, people like you and me. These are a bunch of players, and this is the club that represents the crybabies, the pussies out there. I mean, yeah, man. Why do I spoil my peace of mind ranting about this? Honestly, because people are only going to come after me, claiming that I'm entitled to this club winning. No, I'm not. I've seen enough football, man. There are teams that go long stretches without winning, but there is a way to do it. There is a way to show character. But I've said this way too many times. We are in Arsenal, we are in Bayer Leverkusen, or all those second tier clubs who are okay with not really winning. We are Madrid, man. We are up against a Barcelona who is a relentless league winning machine. Yeah, when I watch Barcelona games, okay, I laugh at how easy they are to play up against with their high line, and then I feel envious about the way they fucking score goals, Farouk. It's basics that they do well so so many times. It's basics. Kunde on the right providing an overload. Ferran Torres. Who the fuck here thought Ferran Torres is going to absolutely push out Lewandowski out of the starting 11 and be their main guy? I didn't. Farooq, did you do that?
Nope, 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 definitely not. And that's the thing, like that's now a team that at the beginning of the season everything wasn't going well, and people were saying this and that, but you can see they found their way, they found the pattern, they found solutions internally. So this is the rule, this is the job of a coach. Like Hansi Flick once again has shown or continues to demonstrate, like why he's aware, why the reason why he's a well respected and seasoned coach. You're finding solutions internally. You're able to provide man management for the players. You're able to like coax the best out of, as you just rightly point out, Ferran Torres. He's a reject from Manchester City, and I mean, he was going to even leave Barcelona at a certain point in time. All of a sudden, now guys banging in hat trick. It is what it is, and this is also Barcelona with the defensive issues as well.
Issues, yeah.
So defensive, the
They
crisis of the
start their
defenders, the
games a goal
midfielders, what is
down,
and what is not.
right, Farouk? Every game they start 1-0 down, yet they
Yeah, yeah,
outscore
exactly,
their rivals
exactly.
every time.
Exactly. So this is the thing. Like we need that. We also need that sense of like people need to buy into what is happening right now at the club, and the players, in my opinion, are not bought in. That's why I mentioned about there is a disconnect somewhere. Either the players and the coach and the players and the the administrative staff, and the coach. But there is a disconnect somewhere. Everyone is not pulling in the same direction. This is the problem here. Because if everyone is pulling in the same direction, why on earth will Fede Valverde not play as a right back? He played as a right back for 3 straight seasons, bro. For 3 straight seasons. Right back, right winger, right back, right winger. So what changed? What happened?
His right wing role,
All
Farouk, it involved basically, overlapping and underlapping with Carvajal and basically being
with
the
Carval, yeah.
pseudo right back when Carvajal is up top, right? I mean,
Exactly.
I don't know, bro.
Exactly.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Exactly. So what
Fede
changed?
would
That's
die
what I'm
for
saying to
Carlo.
you, bro.
Fede would die for Carlo,
The
Farouk.
only
That's what
thing,
changed.
bro, the only thing that changed, the only thing that, in my opinion, I know Carlo was a big factor on that, but the thing that changes are Luca left, Tony left,
Yeah, yeah.
Casemiro left, all those guys, what's it called, Lucas Vasquez left. I mean, we might meme Lord Vasquez for what is and for what is not, but you know that when it comes to doing the deed, Vasquez is there. Vasquez is not going to let you slack. You understand? These guys left, and now all of a sudden, like Fede is the captain of the team, and then yeah, okay, whatever he wants is what has to happen. Because as you rightly pointed, there is no way on earth that any other coach will play a right back, or rather a left back as a center back as a right back, just because Fede already wants to play in the season.
Honestly, Farouk, I never thought politics would come down to Fede Valverde. I'm not even sure this is the actual reason. But when you look at the fucking body language and the way we fucking stroll through games and the way we perform, man, you wonder all the smoke that's coming out is whether it's actually true or not. Because at what point do you completely sit, take a seat back and then listen to some of the rumors that's coming out? I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me get into a few other comments quickly before we slowly start wrapping this up. Ashik was mentioning if you're going to hire a tactic reliant manager, then give him the players that fits his tactical plan. If you're just going to sign players who are free, then hire someone who relies on moments. Um, yeah, Ashik was mentioning everyone will shit on Alonso or the players, but the real problem of Madrid is with Perez and the board. When Perez told Alonso not to punish Vinny after the Clasico, the dressing room was lost. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, bro. I saw all this coming. I'm not a fucking fortune teller, but I knew all this was gonna happen. He needs to turn the ship around ASAP, and that starts on Wednesday. We need a statement performance. City, as good as they are, as effective as they are going forward, they are a mess at the back. We have to capitalize. We have to really take the home advantage on board and really thumb them 3-4 nil. That's the only way we walk away from this week thinking, yeah, we gained something. Because at this rate, you know, yeah, we are not winning anything this season. Yeah, Ashik's is spitting facts, man. Alonso's trying to save his job more than win the game right now. Thus when he plays 90 minutes in a match, he was of no use. What did Vinicius do, man? Apart from maybe that chance that he kind of half created for Arda Güler in the first half, if you remember. Farouk, Vinny to Mbappe, that takes a deflection, and then Mbappe puts it on a platter for Arda Güler, maybe a bit behind Arda Güler, that he puts it wide. But yeah, Vinicius, what has happened to Vinicius? I have no idea. I've defended him way too often. I was very critical of his tantrums and whatnot, but as one of the guys who actually stepped up and won us the Decimo Carta, I've immense respect for Vinicius. So I'll back him till he's here. But yeah, man, time is running out for a lot of these players. The patience is wearing thin. Ashok was mentioning he brings on Rodrigo when we need a box presence, takes Arda off when he was the creator. I mean, Arda is the easy scapegoat. If you've noticed, this is the template Xabi Alonso follows, right? You pull Arda, you put in Rodrigo. That's been his go-to all throughout the season. Very rarely have I seen him give Arda Güler a bit more time. Um, yeah, he puts in Gonzalo after we go a man down. Alonso's the manager in name only. The players are mainly Vinny and Fede are running this team now, thanks to that is player power, man. It's going to be the end of the side. It's going to be the end of the side unless we fix the issue, man. When are we going to stop the bleeding? It stops right at the dressing room. We have to really, really give the guy who is running the show powers. And that's why I always felt like maybe a Zidane is the perfect answer for this dressing room. Only he can basically. It's a huge ask. It's almost like you're the size of Madrid. The size of the club we are basically zeroing down our targets to one man. It's mental. Um, so much for a tactical manager. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Tactical managers do not deliver for Madrid, and I don't hear from the tactical manager loving fans, plastic fans. Big up Hassan. Long time no see. Hope you're well, Hassan. He was mentioning. I remember watching Chabi's first press conference. He catfished us completely. Mm. She was mentioning Mbappe is a fantastic player, but he's in the killer. The killers have a look. You can see it in their face, their walk, their demeanor. Cristiano, Benzema, Raul, phenomenal. Where some of them. Yeah, this is the thing. Barcelona financially struggles to sign players, loses the greatest player, and still challenges for leagues or wins. Meanwhile, we look like a pub league side. Yeah. Barcelona, took the more sensible route. They could have succumbed to the Messi player power, but it was a tug of power play, in 4K, in broad daylight, and Barcelona said, you know what, no thanks. We have to protect the integrity of this club. We have to, um, yeah, put the club first above arguably the greatest player to have played for them. So yeah, man. Unless we basically, yeah, tighten the grip on these players and these egos, we can't really move forward. We can't really move forward. We can't expect Xabi Alonso to be losing his mind, asking. the team to press when they are a goal down. It's mental. It's mental. Any final thoughts, Farooq?
Yeah, that's the thing, like it's funny because like what you and Ashik were pointing out how Barcelona lost the greatest player that they had, and uh, but then we're not talking about a Vinicius Junior here. We're not talking about a Jude Bellingham. You're talking about Messi. Like basically, like I mean, this is someone that's won how many Champions Leagues for? I don't know. Like this is a player that's won how many league titles? This is a player with pedigree, has stuff to back this stuff. You understand? But then when you look at our players, like I mean. Vini has won just one title, being the main man of the team. So like Bellingham similarly as well. So like it's not like these guys have done stuff with them. Yes, like we're not talking about the BBC, we're not talking about the KCM. We're talking about random people. So it's very strange that have to go to this level of politics for this player. Honestly, if as you were saying earlier, if this is a Cristiano, if this is a Gareth Bale, if this is Karim Benzema, if this is a Luka Modric, you can understand where all of this is. I have to go through all of this. We're talking about Kylian Mbappe, like he literally came yesterday, bro. He came yesterday. Why do we have to go into all of this mental gymnastics for these guys? There needs to be a reset, man. And really, like it's very strange. Ever since I've been watching, really, I don't think there's been a team that's been entitled as much as this. I mean, one thing's always been clear: Florentino
Yeah.
Perez is the boss. That's the thing.
Mm.
That's the thing that we've always known. Perez is the boss, and that's the end of story. Full stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how it goes. Really, it's strange times, man. Honestly, something needs to change. Otherwise, bro, I don't know. Whoever the coach is or whatever isn't, there's going to be a problem. But then again, it goes back to my opinion. I think 2009 transfer that was built from then to the Mourinho team, first Carlo team, Zidane's team, there was a core there that was built, like the guys that wanted to win and win for each other because they went through a lot of suffering, actually. Because I think that's the point. We need to also put into context what we were in the 2008, 2009 seasons, right? So we were going constantly getting knocked out of the UCL and 16. Barcelona and Pep were doing their thing. So like our guys had to fight tooth and nail
Yeah.
to win stuff, to earn everything. But then Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, what's it called, Jude Bellingham, they just slaughtered into a fight tooth and nail the same way those guys fight. Gareth Bale had to fight. Luka Modric was literally labeled the worst striker of the season. So like these guys had to fight for stuff. Whereas the players we have now, they haven't fought for anything. They just slot into a winning machine and they took that for granted. Really. Yeah, man. It's insane, man. I really do hope we see an upturn in form very soon, man.
You make some really interesting points. I mean, how can you disagree with it? If you remember, Farouk, the way we went out against Dortmund at home, I was bawling my
Yes.
eyes out. So those kind of games, those kind of seasons mature you as a player, mature you as a human being. You appreciate how much you work for, and you give your all. Um, these players haven't seen any of those days yet. I don't want to be here seeing all that shit. To be honest, this is a side that's been poured gazillions into. State of the art stadium, state of the art facilities, state of the art coach to back all of that, and yeah, this is frankly not good enough. Young Faro, big up yourself. He was mentioning Alonso is not the guy. Vinny also needs a leader with him, similar to Benzema. He doesn't listen well to the captain, Fede. Madrid lacks a maestro. I mean, yeah, we can all see that, but apparently the board and the transfer strategy doesn't really, um, yeah, doesn't really see what we see, man. Unfortunately. Yeah, the best talents with no direction. Yeah, that's what this team is. We have moments, we have individual brilliance, papered all over it. Now, again, Farooq, I'll tell you, we had moments of individual brilliance, but I hope now you understand. Carlo provided the perfect platform for. I mean, you said this yourself. I mean, this isn't a dig at you, but I hope we can now appreciate what Carlo did by providing a platform for all these fiercely talented individuals to start their stuff. I'm not saying that Xabi Alonso wouldn't be able to do it, but this is a young manager who is, like we all know, learning on the job, and the pressure is at its highest, I think. Right, Farooq? Has it been this bad any time in the last 5 years? I don't think so, right? um
But I mean, the
I
point
don't
is
think
that you
so.
have to consider again, like, I think it's, you can't just take it as an isolated incident. Like, Carlo was a very important piece of it, but like the players were also important pieces of it as well. And I rightly pointed,
Mm,
for me,
mm,
I've been saying this for the past 1 month. The problem I
mm,
see here is a lack of leadership. It's not about the
mm,
fact that Carlo was there or Carlo is missing. I understand. I'm not taking anything away from Carlo. Carlo, arguably greatest European coach ever, but the squad was different. He's
mm,
not playing with the same squad right now. Right now, there is absolutely nobody. There is zero, nobody. There is no one that can say anything to anyone. No one is holding anybody accountable.
yeah.
Under Carlo, he had his leaders on and off the pitch,
Mm,
people who could hold people accountable, people who could tell.
yeah.
I mean, we saw the podcast Tony Cruz was made after the Clasico, and he talked about, we have spoken to Vini a lot about this. Are you
Mm,
telling me that Fede Valverde is repeating what Tony Cruz and Luka Modric were
no,
telling to Fede,
no,
to
no.
Vini? Definitely not. No one is saying this to him anymore. No one is saying anything to Jude. No one is saying anything to
Mm,
Kylian Mbappe. There is none of that anymore. So I do understand, of course, credit
mm.
where credit is due. Like, you don't even need to talk about him because like his CV says everything. That's just it. You understand? But then also, like, it's not just an isolated incident as well. I feel the change in personnel also matters. Like, we've gone from like literally all timers into, like, I don't know, mediocrity, man. Honestly,
I don't know if you have seen that, Farooq, but I'm sure you must have come across it. But there's this famous video from 2016 where Modric and Ramos is going after Isco. I think it was an away game, maybe at Depor. I can't really recall. Maybe Alaves. I'm not sure really. But Isco is having a bad game. And Isco's trying to talk back to Luka Modric, claiming that he's trying his best to actually keep it moving, but Modric thinks he's taking way too many touches, and Isco tries to talk back to him, and immediately Modric is like, "Shut your mouth. That's it. Just keep quiet. Just listen to me. Keep quiet." And Modric isn't having any of it. Isco is still trying to talk back, and then he hears a voice from behind his back. It's Ramos. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing, man? You're talking back to Luka Modric, right?" This is the sort of hierarchy we miss sorely. And we are talking about Isco, a five-time Champions League winner, integral in at least two of them. Key piece, the main guy that bought us, duodecima. This is sorely missed, man. This is sorely missed, Farouk. And I completely agree with you. Young Faro was asking us, do you think legal gambling influences La Liga? I don't give a fuck, man. If it does, I mean, we are way too insignificant to actually be even talking about all that kind of shit. What matters is what happens on the pitch, what they do on the side. If Jay-Z manages multiple Madrid players, good for them or bad for them. I don't give a fuck. What they do outside. They can party all they want. They can fuck whoever they want. They can spend their money on whatever they think is fit. I'm not their dads. Neither should you guys be, right? They are grown-up men who can make sound choices for their lifestyle and for their future. Let them do what they want, right? What matters to us is what they do on the pitch. I know it can kind of bleed into your performance and how much you're concentrated on, and how committed you are to the cause and whatnot. Maybe, but this is a period of time that we live in where the club doesn't really have those kind of interests, as their focus. Unfortunately, this isn't the 90s, if I may put it that way. But yeah, we need to really, strap our seatbelts in, man, because we need a big performance against City. Otherwise, quick final question, Farouk. If we don't get a big performance out of City and we suffer, a couple more questionable performances in La Liga, we are traveling away to Alaves on the weekend, and we again travel to Sanchez Pizjuan the week after. So it's two away games, I believe so. Is Xabi Alonso's job on the line if we don't come out of the three games with at least two wins?
Yeah, I think so. I do think like going into the winter break, if things do not get better, I do think like yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I agree as well. But will he get sacked? I don't know. I just want the best for Xabi Alonso. We'll find out if there's a reaction, and this is high time, unfortunately, for these set of players and for Xabi Alonso as well. Reality hits you hard, man, when you're at the driving seat in Madrid. There is no room for error, unfortunately, especially at home as well. But yeah, big up to the people who have been tuning in. Smash the likes on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 4K. Big up our sponsors as always. Talks. I don't know
Oh,
if we are.
sorry, yeah, yeah,
Are we
we're
still
still
there?
on. Yeah, we're still on, man. We're still on.
A big up our
Yeah, sorry
sponsors.
about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all
It's
good. We've had
yeah.
some connectivity issues, but yeah, man, big up our sponsors as always. Talksport, go check them out. The biggest sports radio station in the world. Everything on LBR is officially powered by the Talksport Fan Network. Also, go show some love to Fanatics as well, official partners of La Liga and Real Madrid. Make sure you use the affiliated link in the description below so that they know you guys came through us. But yeah, boys, until next time, see you on Wednesday against City. I hope the post match is a much better one than this one. Until next time, boys. Ala Madrid.
Madrid.